I'm going to call to order this regular meeting of the Page County School Board.
Mr. Beaver,
Yes.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Dr. Painter.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes.
Mr. Lafayette.
Please pause for a minute of silence as we prepare for this meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do you have any agenda changes or additions?
No.
I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we certify that personal matters discussed in closed session, section 2.2-3711A1, pertaining to the discussion and consideration of prospective candidates for school board employment, appointments, promotions, salaries, transfers, resignations, retirements, discipline, or performance of employees of the school board.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to those of you who are here and excited tonight. The first of which we're going to start with tonight is our football program. I'd like to invite the following Jenny Jeffries, who is the PCPS Nutrition Services Supervisor, Megan Gordon, who is the Executive Director and the Chair, Molly Beardsley, with the Virginia Cooperative Extension, and Nick Smith on page 1 2. Who all would please. So PCPS was one of 6 school divisions recognized at the Virginia School Board Association's Summer Competition for its sports business program. Competition is designed to educate, engage, and empower school leaders to address childhood hunger and provides all students in Virginia with healthier and nutritious food. PCPS sports visit program in partnership with Community Action, PACA, and Healthy Families of Page County, and utilizes grant funding from Share Our Plate to provide food, supplies, and a variety of other resources for families in need. Our 80 families that we have served since the program began in January of 2021 have provided over 13,500 meals, 2,500 boxes of donated food to organizations in the Blue Ridge Food Bank. Porch visitors make weekly visits to families, and in addition to providing food, they assist with helping families in acquiring necessary resources. This might include such things as accessing Wi-Fi, helping file tax paperwork, tutoring students, providing diapers, for connecting with community resources to help with housing. The Porch Visit program was recently featured by No Kid Hungry, the No Kid Goes Hungry program, with a video documenting the exemplary work being done. The link to the video can be found on our division homepage. And I would really encourage you, if you have not watched that video, please take a moment. It's only about 5 minutes. You will have some eye misting that will happen at the end of it, but it's a wonderful testament to the work that these folks are doing. So if you would, please join me in congratulating Ms. Brenda Jeffries, Megan Gordon, Ms. Beardsley, and Mr. Smith for their work to aid in achieving truth for talk, no kids, no seniors, no kids.
They went.
So we also want to just take a moment to recognize some of our porch visitors. Those are the folks that take the food and the materials and engage with the family. Ms. Linda Breeden, Kim Burton, Taylor Alter, and there you go, and Corinne Murphy. Great. They are some of our porch visitors, so please congratulate them. And then we did invite some of our porch visit families to be here tonight. So if any of you are here, would you please stand up? You're recipients of the porch visit. So congratulations and thank you all for all of your hard work. Thank you. So research from and data from schools has long supported that students who participate in school athletic and extracurricular programs are better connected to school, have higher self-esteem, earn better grades, have better attendance, and are less likely to drop out of school. Additionally, participation in these activities has shown to help students develop strong skills that will help them be successful in the workforce, college, and in life. We offer and extend our congratulations tonight to all of our student athletes and student extracurricular club participants for their hard work and their commitment to their organizations or teams at their school. We're excited to be able to recognize some of the students, coaches, advisors who have been recognized for their awards at the state or the national level. The students we're recognizing tonight participated in events in the spring and summer of 2022. So students, advisors, coaches, when your name is called, if you would please come forward, you'll receive a certificate, and then if you would please shake hands with Mrs. Gordon and Mrs. Sullivan-Smoot, and then if you would remain up front until we do the whole team or the whole group. And I'd like to ask you, if you would, if you'd hold your applause until the end. I know that's hard, but if we could do that, we'd appreciate it. We'll begin tonight with Page High School and the Family, Career, and Community Association, better known as FCCLA winners. So we want to extend our congratulations to the following students. Victoria Groves for the National Life Smarts Knowledge Bowl Top 8. Are you here, Victoria? Okay. If students aren't here tonight, also, we're going to let you know, we're going to invite them back at our next meeting where we do student recognitions. There's a lot of other activities going on in the division, so we want to make sure we recognize our students. For the National Life Skills Knowledge Bowl Top 8, we also want to recognize Mason Hilliard, Micah Howen, Abigail McInturf, and Emma Sellers. We also want to recognize from the Page High FCCLA Emma Sellers, who served as the state president for the 2021 school year. Whitney Miner for her National Star Events Silver Medal in Event Management. Madison Murphy and Seth McCoy, also for National Star Events Silver Medal Event Management. And Kaylee Kite for Silver Medal National Star Events in Promoting and Publicizing.
Ethan Lucas for the National Top 10 Star Events Chapter website design. And then Joey Miller for he was elected last year as the state president for parliamentary law. Last year he was the vice president for membership. This year he has been elected as the vice president of parliamentary law. Sadie Rodriguez for a second place National Star Events Chapter Service Project. And Manuel Coronel Cardoza for second place National Star Events Chapter Service Project. Hannah Thomas, State Star Events first place in promoting and publicizing. And if Miss Bobby Comer is here, is she here? Okay, we want to recognize the Page High FCCLA chapter for their National Families First Winner Award and the National Career Connections Runner-Up Award. So if you would join me in congratulating all of the students and sponsors. From Luray High School, we'd like to recognize the following students who participated in the state outdoor track meet. Jacob Bowman, James Farrow, Davy Johnson, they're probably all out running cross country right now. Hunter Kibler, Austin Lamb, hey, we got one. Hunter, yay, and Austin. Jaden McClung, Joshua Knuckles, Allison Shores, and Draven Stevens. Coached by Lynn Hamilton, Alyssa Sowers, and David Sowers. Congratulations. Thank you, guys. Great job. From Luray High School, congratulations to the following Future Farmers of America FFA Club members. Skylar Breeden for a state degree, and Jesse Lang for an FFA state small engine winner. You join me in congratulating them. Congratulations to the LHS FFA sponsors, Miss Katie Rhines and Miss Kristen Cornell. They have been recognized as a bronze ranking national chapter. Congratulations. Thank you for all your work. From Page County High School, we'd like to recognize the following students who participated in the state outdoor track meet. Kanan Breeden, Brett Paul Campbell, Malachi Davis, Stephon Hawkins, Logan Heiston, Jacob Martz. We also want to congratulate Jacob on 4th place finish in the high jump. Austin Shiflett, Blake Turpin, and these guys and gals were all coached by Chris Hall, Kevin Morris, Kaylee Yankee, and Sammy Yankee. So congratulations. From Luray High School, congratulations to the following Family, Career, Community Leaders of America FCCLA members. Bianca Waybright for 2nd place state star events and a national qualifier for food innovations. Georgia Diaz for a 2nd place star events and national qualifier for food innovations as well. Would the FCCLA advisor from Luray High please come forward, Miss April Smith. We want to congratulate you all for your membership award of being the bee's knees and for a 100% pass rate on the NOCT Credential Intro to Early Childhood Education. Congratulations. Thank you, guys. Congratulations. From Luray High School, congratulations to the following students and coaches who participated in the state soccer semifinals. Jocelyn Alger, Bailey Ansel, Tegan Blow, Emily Donovan, Summer Forder, Mercedes Guzzi, Trinity Haas, Diamond Martin, Nadia Martin, Savannah Owens, Eris Parlett, Hazel Parlett, Olivia Scalzi, Caitlin Taglauer, Amber Tharp, Leonice Warwick, Emily Weekly, Anna Whitmer, Aubrey Wilson, and Coach Amy Weekly. We also want to extend our congratulations to Emily Weekly, who was named to the All-State First Team for soccer. So congratulations, ladies, and Coach Weekly. From Page High School, we want to congratulate the following students and coaches who participated and were state runner-ups at the state softball tournament. So beginning with members of the team who were also voted to the all-state team. So if you all would come forward if you're here, and please remain up front. Marissa Monger, softball all-state first team. Kirsten Hensley, softball all-state second team. And Jocelyn Rinker, softball all-state second team. And then members of the team who earned the title of state runner-up, we have Carly Austin, Haley Comer, Alexis Freimeyer, Bailey Gaskins, Jocelyn Rinker, Kirsten Hensley, Adrian Martin, Emily McCoy, Marissa Monger, Jade Mullins, Cadence Reinhardt, Ariana Raudebush, Savannah Shiflett, Taylor Umberger, Kiara Yoro, and head coach Alan Knight, assistant coaches Jamie Hensley, Chad Umberger, and statistician Dennis Zimmerman. Please join me in congratulating them as state runner-ups. Congratulations, ladies. Great job. We're very, very proud of you all. Thank you. So thank you to our parents, our coaches, friends, and family who support all of our students in these wonderful activities. Please join us one more time in congratulating them on their hard work and their accomplishments. This concludes our student recognitions portions of the program. Students and parents, you're welcome to leave, or you're welcome to stay and watch the remainder of the school board meeting.
They gone.
Mass exodus.
And then Marissa.
I can't say I blame them.
Yeah, Marissa, here's Marissa from the burgers. That's, yeah.
Thank you. Sorry for not giving you the heads up on that one. Yeah.
And
Yeah, they were up and moving.
the August minutes are posted for review. Can I have a motion to approve consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Painter and a second by Mr. Painter to approve the consent agenda as amended. Is there any discussion?
Dr. Painter,
Yes.
Mr. Beaver,
Yes.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Ford.
Yes. Ms. Sechrist, monthly financial reports?
Yes, good evening, board members. You all have been provided with the monthly financial report for August, where the total expenditures and revenue were $3,447,525.34. Along with that, you've been provided with the local match calculation that we did balance with the treasurer. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Thank you. work session agendas. Dr. Fox?
Yeah, so good evening, Board. What we wanted to do was just confirm with you all that you are in agreement as we continue to move through having the newness of work sessions. As we talked about initially when we put this process on the table, there are times when there may be times when we have to vote on certain things. You guys are aware of that. There also may be times when we need to bring forth policy to you or things like RFPs. And in the interest of time and not slowing those things down, I just want to confirm that you guys are okay with our work agenda, work session agenda, in addition to having some of the big topics, like in October, we're going to be talking with you about student achievement data. We might also bring to you some policies for a first read or some RFPs that need your initial consent and review, and then we'll formally approve those at the next meeting. So just want to get confirmation from you all before we move forward with our next agenda that you're okay with that. Okay, I'm seeing all yeses. All right, thank you for that.
Thank you, Dr. Fox. We're up again with overnight field trips.
Yeah, so this is just to discuss with you about senior trips. So we've had a request from one school that they'd like to go back to some of the ways that we used to do it, where there would be a senior trip. These could potentially involve out-of-state travel, could involve airfare or bus travel. There would be cost to students. And then typically it's to an amusement park or something like that, but a gathering for the senior class to participate in together. Want to just entertain any questions that you all might have or concerns, or if you're okay with it before we have the schools formally move through the process of investigating. We just want to make sure you guys are okay for us to go down that road before, again, they invest the time and energy into or publishing any trips that might be taken. So questions, comments, concerns? So, okay, so then what I'm hearing is you're okay if they proceed to have out-of-state trips, and we'll bring you the official overnight field trip request forms for each one, but we're okay to proceed in that direction. Okay.
I'm just glad there was no social media in 1995 to record our senior trip to Florida.
Scratch that from the minutes. No, I'm just kidding. The other piece of that is I just also want to confirm that you're okay if we bring you one general request for approving any postseason athletic play for each season, because they obviously will have to travel. They'll have, potentially, if they can't use a school bus, they'll have to charter a bus, and there'll be overnight accommodations that are required. We've done this, we did this last year. We just brought you sort of a blanket approval for that, knowing that it could happen that way. If it does, knowing the timeline and turnaround for that's very quick for some of our athletic teams. Are you guys comfortable if we continue in that fashion? Okay, thank you. That's it for that.
Thank you. Human Resources and Business Operations update, Dr. Johnson?
Good evening, members of the school board. Each regular meeting, we are trying to bring you just some informational updates on what's going on in the operations side of things with the school system. And so the team that I work with most closely, Ms. Jeffries, Mr. Williams, Mr. Bell, and Ms. Griffith, have been providing me with lots of data. I know it's maybe a little difficult to see from your angle on the screen, but I thought it would be neat to just share with you some data that highlights just the successes that are ongoing in the operations world. And so you can see in the handout there, transportation data. This is as of this past week. We are, every day, we are running 59 bus routes. We're carrying an average of 2,279 students, 1,870 miles a day. And that number jumped out at me when I think about our bus drivers and our car drivers and our aides. They don't get noticed very often, and they're behind the scenes, but that's a tremendous amount of mileage and a tremendous number of students that have safely been transported daily. So I was real pleased to be able to share that. We also have 13 special transportation car or van routes that carry another 50 students, 1,241 miles a day. We have 4 routes that travel outside of the county lines, and 9 students travel a total of 534 miles per day. So I put in red there. It's pretty staggering. This is outside of sports. This is outside of field trips. This is daily transportation, 72 regular planned routes that transport 2,338 students over 3,000 miles a day. So I think about those that we don't notice, our bus garage mechanics that keep this many vehicles on the road, and our drivers that are staying alert and remaining safe. And so any chance I can, I want to wave a flag for these folks, because the transportation department, the bus garage, are doing a tremendous job. I wanted to give you some of that data. A little bit of information out of the Human Resources Department. You know that substitute teaching has been a challenge over the last 2 years, not just in Page County, but around the state. And so I'll give you a little bit of update on where we are there. We continue to have a little bit of a hiccup in the paperwork process. What I mean by that is, by law, we cannot have anybody in the schools until we see the completed criminal background check and the Department of Social Services screening. And so that really holds us up. We're averaging somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks to get some of that paperwork back. So we can offer a position, but we can't use them until that time has elapsed and we get that paperwork. But we currently have 43 active subs, but there are 17 more that are onboarded and ready to go as soon as we get the qualifying paperwork in. And then Mr. Bell had another in-service this week, and we onboarded 5 more. So we've sent that paperwork off as well. So we really are it's a waiting game for us to be at 65 subs, which will be a relief to our folks, our teachers and our teacher assistants that at times are being asked to cover classes out of need. This is something we're still pushing. Mrs. Runyon has been tremendous with the social media side of that, and we're getting those blasts out saying that we're looking for people, we're looking for positions, and we're getting good response from that as well. Mr. Bell and I did some work this week on large banners that would go on the side of buses that we would park around the county. So those we're in the process of looking at as well, having printed and get those out. So any way that we can get word out to get employees to help us, substitutes to help us, we're pursuing it. The last piece under HR that I'm very excited about, I learned of a program called FEP, or Family Employment Program. It's a state initiative through the Department of Social Services. And what FEP is, it is a partnership in which the local social services division will identify work-age adults that would be potential employees for us. The beauty of this is that the social services counselors will assist in training and screening. And they'll examine, before they ever get to the school system, to the application phase, they'll examine the roadblocks to employment, such as childcare, transportation, those sorts of things. So the clients of social services are getting workplace counseling, assistance, support, and then when they apply to Page County Schools, we've got somebody on that side that's giving us references and saying, hey, this is somebody you really would do well to take a look at. So we think it's going to be a win-win for our community to partner with social services in the PEP program. A couple more things on the operations side. Mr. Bell was involved in a sheltering meeting this week with the Red Cross, and they're looking at logistics ahead of time, and this has happened once or twice over the years, but not often, and we hope it doesn't happen, but the ability to use our buildings as Red Cross shelters in case of natural disaster. So we're looking at things such as our generator capacity, fuel types. There's just some cross your T's and dot your I situations. As I said, Mr. Bell represented us there, and getting ahead of that so that we could be well prepared if ever there was a need to open the school as a evacuation shelter. So that's been ongoing this week. And then we joined the Rampage Clinic, and I know Mrs. Gordon and Mrs. Jeffries were very active in that this past year, in which we had health specialists at Luray High provide health, doctor's visits, dental work, vision, those sorts of things. And so we're under the planning stages again for a second one, which is currently tentatively scheduled for September 29th, 2023 at LHS. So those, I believe, are going to be ongoing planning meetings over the next 11 months now to do that again. So those are the biggies, and I've got trying to give you a little bit of a glimpse of what more I'd like to bring you at the next regular session, which would be our nutritional services department is doing lots. It is amazing to see the new regulations that anytime there's an after-school program with students, we're to provide nutritional services. And so Miss Jeffries, every time I look up, she's running out the door to somewhere after school. She told me today she's getting to know the Luray High School band really well because they're doing a lot of after-school programs. And so when there's programs, there's food. So we're going to bring you a lot of data on what kind of activities, what kind of events, what's going on there. And then you all had sort of informally asked Mr. Williams a little bit about where we were at in the HVAC processes and Johnson Controls, and he's got a detailed list of what's been done, what's still to be done. And so that's as well, we're going to provide that for you as well at the next meeting. That's all I have unless there's questions.
I would be interested on the work orders that are turned in and how that's managed, if you could demonstrate something in that regard.
Absolutely. I ran a report for Mr. Williams just a couple of weeks ago. Out of Talent Ed, which is the program we use, we can run by date. I gave Timmy a report that showed, I want to say we did 1,100 work orders in the 12 months prior when I ran that report, but I can run it by job type, date fields, all of that. So I'll put something together. If you have specifics you'd like, let me know.
Okay.
So I can run the report accordingly and I can query it all out through Excel. But yeah, we can drill down pretty deeply in that.
Okay. And on the substitutes last year, I know it varied, but what was our average, you would say?
About 30, 35, Mr. Bell, last year. So we're double right now.
Double, that's
Yeah.
great.
We're moving in the right direction. It was disappointing. Mr. Bell was hoping for 11. 11 had contacted him and said, we're coming. 5 actually showed up. So we'll take the 5, but we wanted 11. Yeah.
And not a huge issue because we have over a year, but we're setting up the 29th. The clinic is the 30th and the 1st. So it's that weekend,
Thank you.
the Rampage. We definitely want everybody that wants any free medical, dental, or vision, chiropractic services, and there's no questions asked. I recommend. Mark that on your calendar for next year.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Instructional update, Ms. Ryman.
Good evening, Dr. Fox, board members. I brought my computers. I don't think my eyes are going to be that good. So good evening. So this evening's instructional update really is intended to focus on accreditation because that was officially released today by the state. So school quality profiles will be updated. As we anticipated and as we've been talking about in the past few months, 5 of our schools within Page County Public Schools are fully accredited. That would be Shenandoah and Springfield Elementaries, Luray Middle, Luray High, and Page County High. And we have 3 schools accredited with conditions for this year based on last year's data, Luray Elementary, Stanley Elementary, and Page County Middle. Those ratings at your space, I left you a little stack of papers. The top one is a summary sheet from the DOE that kind of outlines how you get those ratings. It's not crystal clear, but it's kind of their little one pager to put out. But that will help frame of reference there that for Stanley and Page County Middle, the reason they are at level 3 is due to science academic achievement. And again, we've been talking about that for a while now, that's been a challenge area. This piece is an opinion on my part. But I know that during the pandemic, we often hear about how the focus was a lot on reading and math, and that would be the case just about everywhere. People, and again, this is my opinion portion, but that played a role in science achievement across the Commonwealth. In fact, about less than 10 minutes before our meeting started this evening, the state superintendent put out her press release and a bunch of data, and I quickly read through that and noted that in 1920, 60 schools in the Commonwealth were at level 3 for science, but this year 235 in the Commonwealth are. So I just thought that was indicative and, makes a statement there. For Luray Elementary, their level 3 is in math achievement gaps. So that's where they look at the breakdown by various reporting demographics, such as students with disabilities, economically disadvantaged students, and so on. So we're taking a deep dive into that, of course, with all of our data, with our principals, and we will look at that much more closely so you can see more of the intricacies of that at our work session next month. But a reminder in all of that is there is that growth factor, but that's only included for grades 3 through 8 in math and reading. And chronic absenteeism is waived for this year. So that is something we'll have to continue to watch and monitor for next year, because we did have some, if you went by this year's ratings, we would have had some schools at level 2 for that factor. Thank you. So what I have in these next few screenshots are, I went to the school quality profiles when they were previewed the other day and pulled these shots off of that are representative of Page County Public Schools overall, just to give you a quick glance. So right here, you're seeing English reading scores. The blue represents Page County Public Schools, and the orangish red is the Commonwealth. So you can see where we fall this past year as compared to the year before. That's where there's reading. Math. Go ahead. Thank you. Science. And then the history is there. Again, that's not part of accreditation, but you can see that balance. So again, what are we doing? Ongoing steps. We've talked a lot about things that are already in place. We're continuing to work closely with those schools that have level 2 and level 3 indicators. Some of that will be involving with the State Department and the Office of School Quality. Each school is working on aligning their school improvement goals with those of the division, which is certainly for all of our schools to be accredited. That's our ultimate goal. And to that end, we have continued professional development planned at the school and individual level. We're meeting monthly with those schools in improvement to monitor academic progress, and with attendance, continuing to support students and families in every aspect that we can. Coming up on the 26th, this is a really big PD day, much like those that we had in August. We have a stacked deck full of great things for our folks to participate in. iReady and Lexia are 2 products we use, so we're having some vendor support there to help us with analyzing that data we've gotten from the beginning of the year through diagnostics, initial data, talk about best practices. We previously mentioned CIP, the Comprehensive Instructional Program, and our work with that cohort. So Dr. Matt Hurt, who's the director, is going to be on site and talking with our teachers that day as well. And we're going to have our behavior specialists, along with some classroom teachers, helping provide some strategies for supporting student behavior. And we're going to offer time again for grade levels and departments to collaborate, as we did back in August. That time seems to be appreciated. So we've got plenty planned to work towards achieving our goals. What questions do you have?
I think when you noted about, that it's almost 200 and some schools now, but if you look at all of it, most of those were people that were already in trouble for something, because that same memo that came out, it mentioned that from 1920, there were 92% of schools were fully accredited, and it's only dropped to 89%.
Correct.
Which actually, is pretty good for what we went through, that it only dropped 3%. So while there are more schools with science, usually they had other things going on too.
And that's quite often the challenge. And we have that conversation internally with principals, is we need to be very careful, because I've seen it happen before, as have many others. We focus our attention in an area that's a need, and then something else, so it's a balance that has to be struck to keep that
cross curriculum. You can teach a lot of science during math.
Absolutely.
You can teach a lot of science during reading. Just to keep it all together. It's hard to balance all the balls, but
It is.
So a question on the school visits. I think one of the things you put out was you wanted to do at least 3 a week. And I'm assuming that's for the directors as well.
Yeah, so we're doing our best, of course, to be out and about in schools. We're planning to do some even observations with some of our administrators. It's a good balancing, a good benchmarking for all of us. But visiting classrooms together or on our own when we're out and about. But yes, we're doing a pretty good job of fitting those in.
So you haven't, you would say you haven't hit 3 every week, probably.
It varies, because sometimes things come up and you have something planned, but for the most part, yes.
I would be interested in the working sessions, at least having some input of what you guys are learning. Every time you're going to visit or doing those joint observations, I would be interested in that for sure.
Any other questions?
Thank you very
Thank
much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, and I did leave on, the other thing on your, at your space is not only that cover sheet, but I gave you the cover page of each school's accreditation report so you
great.
can see exactly where they are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I am still trying to connect you to learn some more about the science of reading and how
Excellent.
it's being done in other places.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Superintendent's update.
Thank you. Good evening, Board. Again, I have a short update for you this evening. With respect to COVID, right now we are in the medium. We've dropped from high where we were the last time we had a formal board meeting back down to medium. So that's good news in terms of those rates coming back down. Right now, we currently have 5 active cases across the division. And that's down from 10 the last time we met for a formal board meeting. You can see our dashboard there. That's current as of this morning. And then we just are going to continue to present these key prevention strategies because even though COVID is sort of being minimized, we don't want to lose sight of those strategies because they're good for everything, not just for COVID. We are seeing some stomach bugs being passed around and things like that. So these prevention strategies are good for that. We want to continue to remind everybody to please keep washing your hands and using hand sanitizer. I think that might be the biggest one. Have the most impact is just to keep those hands clean as we move through the buildings with different things. In terms of our calendar development, we did want to make you guys aware and our community aware that there will be a short anonymous survey that's going to be distributed to staff and parents and guardians tomorrow. And then this survey, the data and information feedback from that is going to be used by our division calendar committee. They will draft a calendar for you all for the 23-24 school year. To even have to say that is crazy, but they will draft that. We'll bring that to you all probably starting in January, February, somewhere in there. But we would appreciate everybody participating in that survey and giving us their feedback. So the committee has some good information to use as they move forward. And then lastly, I just wanted to bring this. You all should be familiar with this. We have had the Stop It app in the division recently, probably 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And Stop It is just an anonymous reporting system that is used to help deter behavior, mitigate risk, prevent violence, and save lives. It can be accessed from a computer, so we can students can access it directly from their Chromebooks and or from a cell phone. It's accessible to anybody who wants to drop the app on their phone. Doesn't have to be students, it could be parents. Principals, assistant principals, our counselors, and central office staff will monitor the reports that come from it. And this may not have been in play when you all had it the last time here in Page County, but there is a 24-hour hotline, crisis hotline, with a live trained crisis counselor that's available. So if someone is having, say, suicidal ideations, they have another access point in which to talk to somebody. Those folks will help bring down the person from their height to a more rational place, and then they'll provide resources for them beyond that phone call. We're going to fund this right now. Obviously, it wasn't budgeted and planned for, but I do think that this is going to fill a little bit of a gap that we have right now in our school safety planning and in our anti-bully campaigns. We don't have a way right now for people to anonymously report information other than, say, printing out something and mailing it to us. So I think this will fill a gap for us and just provide another avenue for people to share information with us. So we're going to fund it right now through ESSER 3 grants and look to include it in our budget in the coming years. So we're going to keep an eye on it and see. I think last time I've heard good and bad comments from it. It was initially used a lot, and we'll get that initially with the first implementation. You're going to get some things that come just because people want to try it out, or kids might play around a little bit with it. Over time, you're going to see the use of it decline, but it doesn't mean that it isn't being used. We're going to keep an eye on that data. We'll keep you updated on that and make decisions moving forward from year to year, whether it's worth keeping it. What kind of reports are we getting? How are we able to respond to them to see if it's worth continuing to keep it as a mechanism for us. So I just wanted to share that with you all tonight. Casey Owens, Coordinator of Student Services, will be overseeing the implementation of it, and we'll begin that process probably next week. It'll take a couple weeks to get everything up and running, and then we'll push out a lot of information to students, families, and staff on how to download the app or access it on their computers. So any questions from my report this evening? Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. Ms. Sechrist, approval of claims for payment?
It's just 1 second. A lot of stuff. I'm used to having our table. Good evening, board members. You all have been provided with the claims certification for the total operating expenditures for September. This might look a little larger than normal, but remember, this is the only time we've seen it this month, is $1,377,521.63. Total food service expenditures for September, $56,235.53. The total expenditures for September, $1,433,757.16. Along with that, you all have been provided with the list of claims as well as the check registers. And if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them.
I'll make a motion that we approve the claims for payment as presented.
Second.
The motion by Mr. Painter and a second by Mr. Gubler to approve the claims for payment as presented. Any questions?
Mr. Hubler,
Yes.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Dr. Painter,
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Wolf.
Yes. Ms. Sechrist, purchase orders over 10,000?
Yes, we have 7 purchase orders on the screen this evening for your approval over 10,000. The first is to our Skyline CAP program. The second is for science curriculum. The next is for lights at both high school softball fields. And then the last 4 are for our food service program. We also, in addition to what's on the screen, want to let you know that the purchase order that you all approved previously for the water heater did come back higher when we went to place the order for that. And it's about $2,500 more than what was on that purchase order. So I'm sorry that that's not on the screen, but we also wanted to make you guys aware of that as well. If you have any questions, our team will do our best to answer your questions on these.
Got a question about, this is kind of niche, but other schools struggle with food waste related to like fruits and vegetables, specifically apples that just get tossed in the trash. How does Page County Public Schools deal with that? I'm just curious.
I'm going to defer to Ms. Jeffries on that one.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thanks.
The softball field lights, is that a hard quote of 400,000?
Yes. So we did 2 purchase orders to not exceed 200,000 at each location.
Okay.
And in the transition that things may even go higher between now and the time that this is completed.
And is there a concern for lead times for the coming season, or is we good with? Okay. Four. And that's standard, I'm assuming, the four, right? Okay. Okay, I make a motion that we approve the purchase orders over 10,000 as presented.
Second. A motion by Mr. Painter and a second by Mrs. Sullivan Smoot to approve the purchase orders as presented.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Dr. Painter,
Yes.
Mr. Gubler,
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Ryman, overnight field trips?
Yes, thank you. Okay, we have a couple of overnight field trips we're requesting your approval for. We have Luray High School and Page County High School each have their FFA programs they would like to take to the National Convention in late October for several nights, the 25th through the 29th. This is about 13 and 10 students respectively in their buildings. And then also Page County High has the National FCCLA Conference. That one will be in November from the 10th through the 13th, about 12 students they would like to.
Make a motion that we approve the overnight field trips as presented.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Painter and a second by Mr. Painter to approve the overnight field trips as presented. Any questions?
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Dr. Painter,
Yes.
Mr. Gubler,
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So board, tonight I bring back to you, at your request, policy BBBB. Is that 4 Bs? Which is the student representative to the school board. You all conducted your interviews and I believe you want to have a discussion and potentially revise the policy as we move forward this year with that. So I'm going to turn it over to you all for your discussion and then we can, you all can put a motion on the table.
Well, we had three. Do we want to make a motion first to amend the policy to then be able to discuss it? Yes. Yeah.
Is it like we're going to deal with this right now as far as numbers and what have you?
But we have to have a motion to discuss it.
I make a motion that we discuss the policy BBBB, student representative to the school board.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Painter and a second by Mr. Painter to discuss policy BBBB. Currently states that we can have one representative. We want to change that.
Discussion then?
Discussion.
Yeah, discussion.
So there was discussion.
So Jackie, you want to talk about the candidates? Please?
We had 3 applicants, 2 from Page County High School and 1 from Luray High School. And Mr. Painter and I had the pleasure of interviewing all 3 of them. And all 3 of them were really great applicants. We were very impressed, not what was just on paper, but the discussions that we had and points that they brought up and so forth. And my thought is to maybe keep all 3. Because it's hard to, for me, it would be hard to determine which one do you not bring on board. They're all 3 seniors. So, you know, we can have, what, is it up to 4 members? I think it is. And I did check with VSBA and they said they had, depending on the school system, some had just 1, some had 2, whatever, 3. And so I think it's a wonderful opportunity for our young people to be able to be part of this. They are the future. So it gives them an opportunity to kind of get a feel for how it really works. So that's my 2 cents.
My thought is, since it's obvious it wasn't very well advertised, the opportunity to apply for it, that if we only had 3, the first time, let's give it a whirl, and then next year maybe limit it 1 per school and try to get more applicants.
I agree with Dr. Turner. And Jackie for the most part.
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, I think, for one thing, those 3 students are involved in extracurricular activities. They're also, 2 of them are in Governor School and the one's at Laurel Ridge. So them being available for the meeting, all 3 was probably going to be rare. And one of them's going to have to carry the voice. So availability would be the big issue that I think, and I think 3, if they put in, it's a lot to do too. Maybe they can break some ground for us and set some things up for the next year.
One thing that I'll say in talking with all 3 of them, they all had an idea on how to share information.
Yeah.
And so 3 heads are better than in that situation. And again, if one can't be there or whatever, I think it'll all come together.
I think the middle schools, I mean, them being able to reach out to the middle schools would help as well, and that'd be a little extra. Yeah. More coverage.
So do we want to amend our motion?
So, yeah,
We need to amend our motion to amend the policy.
Mr. Chairperson, I'd like to amend the motion to amend our policy to include 3 student representatives for this year as a pilot year, and then re-examine next year for potentially 1 per high school.
I think I second that.
Are you agreeable to that?
Is that a little wishy-washy? Sorry
No.
about that.
No, I think we're contemplating whether we have to conclude our initial.
Right.
I think Dr. Painter needs to make she made the motion for the,
And close
Okay, I'd
it.
like to amend my motion. There you go. And ditto marks on everything he said.
okay, so 3, just so that we clear, 3 student representatives for the pilot year, and we'll re-examine it next school year.
Yes.
So
Second.
So we have a motion by Dr. Painter,
We'll get through it.
and we need a second.
No,
by-
Mr. Painter already seconded. so
Mr. Painter already seconded, so we're good.
Now you can vote.
Dr. Painter,
Yes.
Mr. Hooper,
Yes.
Mr. Painter,
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Pearson.
Yes.
Can we make a motion to amend Robert's Rules of Order?
Well,
They won't allow us to do that. Board member discussion time. Okay,
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
we have a motion by Dr. Painter and a second by Mr. Goobler to adjourn.
Mr. Hooper,
Yes.
Mr. Painter,
yes.
Dr. Painter,
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes.
You are adjourned.